listening to EVSC Alumni Stories, from hallways to headlines.
This is the second episode of the EVSC Alumni Story, Hallways to Headlines. I'm your host, Eli Head, and I have my best friend, the guy I go to class with.
My name's Isaac, and I will be joining us today with Alumni Stories, and I'm excited to be here. We have a very special guest today. I have the honor of introducing her. It is Mayor Stephanie Terry. So grateful that she is here with us today, and I think it'll make a great second episode.
Oh, yeah, 100%. How's your day going today?
Not too bad. Thank you all for having me today.
It's a pleasure.
It is a wonderful day to have you in the studio today. We're going to have amazing questions. But let's just get a quick introduction. Who are you? What do you do in the community? And yeah.
Well, I'm, mayor of the city.
Yes,
and
very important right there.
I've been in this role for almost 2 years now. I mean, we'll be closing out this, I guess, midterm, halfway point.
Yeah.
And it's been an exciting journey thus far, and we're continuing to, I think, make some meaningful progress in the city. This is my home, and just glad to have this privilege to serve the city.
That is awesome to hear.
You want to kind of speak about, it's awesome what you're doing as mayor and everything that you've been doing. Kind of speak about maybe how you got to that position, or maybe a little bit before then or something like that.
Well, my journey is pretty unique. I think when while I've run for office before, I ran for school board right out of college, and ran for city council a few years after that. But really, I got out of looking at running for office, and really began to just really be involved in the community and working in the nonprofit sector and just serving children and families. And so my journey, was unique. When I came into a political space, which was my first role in the Vanderbilt County Council, I didn't have the strong political background or resume. And so it was really, really good for me to come to the table. And I really think in many ways that was a way of how to define, me as a leader. I came in with no political experience and had to learn, how to run local government. And so that was critical. And it really was a turning point for me to understand how to use my voice, even when it shook, to learn and listen. And also bring people together, which is a part of, some of the things I use now, even while I serve as mayor.
Yeah, that is.
That's
you
incredible.
put it in a very well spoken. Man, that is awesome. But to speak of back when you were in high school, like in Bosse, what were some of the things that you did at Bosse that kind of like grew you into that leadership position?
Just maybe early signs of leadership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was in everything. I sang in the choir, in drama. I was on the speech and debate team. I played basketball, volleyball, ran track. So I was very involved. And that's, I think something, watching my parents, they were very active. My dad was a minister and led a church. And so they were always very busy helping people do things. And I think that's watching them, their work ethic is really what I kind of adopted for my own self. And I think really helped me mold and build the character, and who I am today is just my involvement in so much and allowing me to be really well-rounded.
I think a lot of kids these days are very like, I want to do this, and this, and like, and they're being fantastic leaders in this community too. Like at my school, and I'm assuming your school as well, Isaac.
Yes. I think a lot of people need to maybe sometimes step up as well. And through that, other leaders in the community will step up from that.
Exactly, yeah.
You talked about having a lot of those characteristics and growing into that leadership role. Can you maybe speak to some of the values that really took part in your life and kind of led you to that, and kind of like the day-to-day, how you go about your life with those values?
Yeah. I think right now, some of the values that really stand out to me right now is integrity, service, and equity. And that really has I think been manifested, so far in my term through one particular project, which it was the Block by Block initiative that we started. And so this is taking our city employees as well as community organizations and taking them into neighborhoods that in many regards has been overlooked. And so we're using crime statistics in code violations in particular neighborhoods, and sending people into those areas to fill potholes, to knock door to door and ask them, make sure they are aware of what city services that they can utilize, but then also offering other city services, whether that's heavy trash pickup and making sure we remove graffiti and replace signage that's been worn down.
Yeah.
It's critical for the residents of the community to see the city at work for them, and that's what this initiative really done. And I think every neighborhood that we've gone to, people are like, when are you coming to ours? And so we're going to continue to grow that program over time, but I think it's really about equity and making sure that people see themselves as an integral part of our community, and how we can all move forward together.
Wow,
I love that.
I love that very much, and it also like connects to the community as well with your term and everything. Just going door to door, like helping people out, cleaning the graffiti, like you said. I think that is very community based, and I think that's a great leadership role as well, and that is amazing. Mm-hmm. What is a message you would give to yourself back when you were in high school to now? Like what is Mayor Terry thinking as a high schooler right now, and seeing herself being the mayor of Evansville? What is she thinking?
I think more than be you. Don't shrink yourself to make other people feel comfortable. Because I think over time I've learned in this journey that some of the things that you think are your weaknesses may end up being the strengths, the things that elevate you into the positions that you eventually will be in. Growing up, I always thought I would be on stage performing.
Yeah.
In my bedroom as a little girl, I would always stand in front of dolls that I had and, act like I'm a teacher. And I think back on that, like, this is where you are right now. You have a major platform to use your voice for good, and so be you, and let the best parts of yourself shine, and never let anyone take that from you.
That is amazing.
Like
I'm actually in theater right now as well. What was your theater career like back in high school? Let's hear it.
It was great. I actually probably my favorite performance, which many people probably have heard about it since me coming there, was being in The Wiz. I was Dorothy in my senior year, and my choir director always tells the story that I left a track meet and then was on stage to open up for the opening night of the show.
Oh my goodness!
But that was my all-time favorite performance of all.
Talk about filling the plate right now, right?
Right.
It's amazing.
I love that. I especially like hearing that you had so much going on in high school and you still all managed that, and now you're here today as mayor. I especially like that.
But it's important to do all that is the right support system.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, one thing that as young people, we have to really, sometimes our parents may get on our nerves sometimes, but the reality is that support system is really critically important, whether it's your parents, your grandparents, or whomever, but being sure to circle yourselves with a group of people that's going to always uplift you and support you throughout the journey to balance it all.
So I like that you're speaking to kind of the inspiration that you have. Is there any other inspiration that maybe you'd like to share or speak more about that? Maybe, there's people supporting you constantly, but maybe is there someone that you maybe looked up to, like, I don't know, like a celebrity, or like you saw a quote
celebrity.
or something, for me, something like I always have a few quotes written down, maybe a few like pieces of scripture or just something that I see on TV or even something like that, something that like drives me. Is there anything like that you want to speak about?
Yeah, I too look at scriptures. I look at other quotes. I love them. I had them all over my office. I don't have as many in this office, but that is something that, yes, I love to stay, to keep myself encouraged. Not only, leaning more into my faith is something that keeps me fueled and motivated, but it's also people. Just whether that's an employee that you come across and you're able to have a conversation about the great work they're doing, to, someone in the grocery store saying, you're doing a great job. That keeps me inspired. But then also really thinking about the historic nature of me being in this role as the first woman and the first African American. For many young girls, they may have never thought that they could see that happen. And so that is also inspiration for me to display, that it's a possibility. You can be mayor too.
Yeah. I love that.
You are definitely an inspiration to thousands of people in Evansville. I just want to let you know that right now. Like even I can date back like 3 years ago when I was a sophomore, and we just opened up the Chicago Airlines, and I was there. I was the performer for that.
Okay,
and that was my first time meeting you, and I was like, man, this is just an amazing mayor. Like it was just such a great experience. Like being there, it was really cool.
But it's, the other thing is it's enormous pressure too to be the first, and you want to do it, you want to get it right, and so I hope that I serve people well, and that's why it's important, the integrity and service and including people in the work that's happening, because this is not work you can do alone. There's too many challenges in our city where we have to be critical about tapping into the expertise that's needed to address huge problems.
I guess maybe since becoming mayor, is there like a relationship or a partnership that has surprised you, maybe in a good way or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know if it surprised me, because I do believe Evansville is one of the most giving communities around. Not that I've been anywhere else to know, but I feel like they are. And just in talking with other mayors, what we have here is special. And just recently, the federal government put a pause on SNAP benefits for many families. I think close to 20,000 families in our region were impacted by that, and so that meant they may not have access to their regular monthly groceries. And so we had the Food Commission here locally, and so the Tri-State Food Bank, Feed Evansville, Young and Established. There were a number of groups that came together and responded in ensuring that no one went hungry. I mean, just, in leading up to Thanksgiving, record number of Thanksgiving baskets being given away, new pop-up grocery stores. And that's the kind of collaboration I really think makes our city special, and really shows really my kind of model of forward together. I mean, that was an example of just that.
And the decision you made as mayor that you hope future students feel the impact of?
Sure, that's a good question. I think so far, I've been in 2 years, and I think in that time, one of the things that we've put a lot of emphasis on is quality of life and quality of place investments. We know that in every city, young people like yourselves that we're trying to retain and then also attract to our city, it's important that we invest in the amenities of the city. And so, we've already, just even this year alone, over $2.5 million has been invested in some of our parks and recreational spaces. We'll increase that in the year ahead. Our city borrowed about $24 million for the primary purpose to do a better job with our parks and recreational spaces. And so in the future, that's something that will be important, I think, to young folk, to know that they have leisure spaces in our community, spaces where they can be active and and have physical activity and just also fun. And so we'll continue to make those quality of life and place investments.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love just listening to kind of what goes on behind the scenes and how all this stuff happens. Like I'm not too sure, but like I went to, Wesselman. Like I go there probably once or twice a week or something like that, and just love playing pickleball. But I kind of forget that I play there for free. It's it's a public space, and I kind of forget about that. But then after hearing what Mayor Terry says, it kind of just reminds me to be grateful for those kind of circumstances, and I really like that. I guess speaking of that, is there any, like, if you could challenge some students listening to do like one thing, maybe to step up or be a leader, or maybe like me, be grateful for something that maybe they don't see every day? Is there something that you would say to students, maybe challenge them?
Well, I think, get engaged and involved in your community. Of course, naturally, it's always, service is something that is, I think, our civic duty and responsibility. And so being informed about what's happening in your community and getting your hands dirty as part of that process. And so whether that's coming out when there's, trash pickup days, or joining a nonprofit board, and learning about organizations that are helping people, I think those are excellent ways as as teenagers to better understand the community in which you live and then how you contribute to it.
I love that.
To piggyback on that, what is one thing in the city right now that students should be excited for what you're doing right now?
Ooh. Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that we can get excited about, it still goes back to quality of place.
Yeah.
So I guess a year ago, the city rolled out in partnership with the Evansville Regional Economic Partnership, who helps with our economic development work in our city, rolled out a river vision plan. And so it's 50 miles of how we can make improvements to our riverfront, adding in more recreational, features down there, more housing and retail and other things, really just to activate our downtown in a way that really truly makes it a destination for children and families across the city and region.
That is so
I like
cool.
that. And I've definitely seen that as well. You know, I go downtown probably a few times and I've seen the construction going on the streets and everything like that. Even the simple stuff at Sunset Skate Park, they just redid the entire surfacing for that.
Yep.
So I don't skate much, but when I do, it's nice to know that when I go there, it's a safe place.
Yeah. You're definitely taking video there often. I've seen the footage.
So it's just kind of see again to go back on how the impact of the little stuff that the city of Evansville is doing, because it truly does matter.
It does. On our downtown is a beautiful place. I just want to let you know that right now. It's a nice place to just walk down and just grab a bite to eat, or take those little alleyways that have the graffiti on them, and like the nice graffiti, not the bad stuff, but you understand. And like the holiday stuff is put up right now too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
And we, hopefully we can do more, of those, putting murals in other places and just being, kind of just being creative, and making, bringing life to every part of our city is something that we're looking forward to.
I love that. I guess kind of closing this out, we're very grateful to have you here on Hallways to Headlines. Is there anything else speaking to the hallways to the headlines, which you are now, that you'd like to maybe speak out to not just students, but anyone who's listening to this, because all ages will be listening?
Yeah. I mean, I think more than anything, I'm honored to serve as the 35th mayor of this city. And I don't take this position lightly. Every day that I wake up, I know that I'm working on behalf of real families and real people. And I hope that I will serve this community well.
Thank you so much for this interview, Miss Terry. And this has been episode 2, EVSC Alumni Hallways to Headlines.